I got, of course, a hoodlum. What? I'm busy. What's up?
I installed a new game on my tablet called Dragon Mania Legends.
Dragon Mania Legends. Is it cool?
Yeah, it's really
Okay,
cool.
so that's my son. He says Dragon Mania Legends is really cool. We're not getting paid to say this, but just so you know, like he's 7. So if you have Dragon Mania Legends and a 7-year-old, it looks like you're all set. Love you, buddy. All right, so let's see. It looks like we're going live on YouTube, and I'm gonna check out over on Facebook. Looks like we might. Yeah, we're live on Facebook too. So it looks like we are streaming through 2 different services with 1 camera. So that's good in a way. I do have my phone camera. I'm getting ready. We will be streaming. Well, we're already live streaming, so I guess technically we're already streaming. But what I would like to do is set up my phone, and I need to find the USB charger thing for it that's hanging down here somewhere. There it is. And then I can plug in my phone to it, and then that way it will charge right. Oh, goodness gracious! So no problem, USB. Of course, because that's just how things go. Sometimes make your happy little videos. Anyways, yeah. So I'm looking for a USB cord that yeah will allow me to charge my phone while I'm using it. So I got my cup and my paint brushes and my little glass of water to dunk the paint brush in. I do have to get my other camera set up because I'm going to be recording off a good camera, like also, and seeing what I can do with that. Beyond that, here we go. This is the cord I'm looking for. So right now what you're seeing is mostly my computer desk. What I want you to see probably is right about there sometimes. Yeah, it's pretty blurry. Gotta see like how well the YouTube thing can come in. If I can fix that. Not the YouTube, but the Facebook stream on my phone, because I will be doing that. Some of that anyway. And excuse me. Anyways, if you guys are just joining me, if I'm not loud enough, you'll have to tell me. If I'm too loud, you'll have to turn me down, I guess. But so what I got is I got a bunch of miniatures from a game called Batman Gotham City Chronicles, and they are pretty cool. They have a lot of variety miniatures, and it's because of your equipment, I suppose. Okay, so equipment does make a difference. It doesn't make the only difference, but it can make a difference. I'm looking at her. She's fairly clear there. I also have to turn on my Facebook camera for the other source, which will be streaming off my main Facebook page. Hopefully you guys can enjoy some of this. I was going to put on some music. Not sure if you guys want music or not, but you guys can comment on this video on the event page, I believe. I still need to invite friends, I think, like more friends, but for now, I will just be happy to, deal with what I'm dealing with. Okay, so we add a description. Oh, I won't forget to. Oh, there we are. So we're gonna call it Batman, and then colon Gotham City Chronicles. And now usually what I do is I put on my headset to talk, but unfortunately the way this works, I'm going to have to use the mic on my webcam because it just makes it for easier use, you know, being hands-free, and I don't have as many wires trying to strangle me, that kind of thing. I really like my headset though, so gonna be missing it today. And then we're gonna call it miniature painting, and then live, like capital L-I-V-E, like it's super important. You know why? Because it is super important. You need to be here watching it. It's going to be amazing. Amazing, I tell you. Anyway, come back. And get rid of that. Alright, so now you guys can see what's going on with this. This is my cup of water. This is my Batwoman miniature. Well, actually, it's not my Batwoman miniature. Let me get her into focus here. There we go. That's my Facebook thing. It's trying to focus on more than one thing. There we go. See, now, maybe. There we go. Now it closes on the Batwoman. So let me get that cup out of the way because I think that cup is the problem. The cup's presenting an issue. It wants to focus on the stuff far away. There we go. Okay. So it'll take a second to focus in, like when I'm doing that. One of the things I did notice about some of the bases on these miniatures, the Batwoman miniature in particular, her base is a little bit off kilter, so it would probably be good to put her on a sturdy base or something like that, other than the one she's on. You hear some weird noises. That's my other camera that I'm getting ready. That I can just move this here. I'm gonna actually let me jack this up so it'll go up further. Yep, it will. Go a little bit higher with it, and then I'm going to move it this way. And move it down some. Okay, so there's that, and I guess that's where we're going to be with that. So if you guys are just now joining, I don't know if you guys are just now joining, but welcome to the video. I am working on some Batman Gotham City Chronicles items, and that will be one of them. I also have several others, but I'll probably see if I can get to this Frank Miller Batman here today. And here, let me show him on the Facebook Live feed here. Let's see if I can get to this Batman focus camera. And it doesn't want to focus. There we go. And it's still not focusing. Oh, of course. Not sure why. But anyways, I got this Frank Miller Batman here that I'm going to paint later. He comes with a little cool, like brick stone wall pedestal type thing that for a base that he can sit on. That kind of resembles the from the image from the comic. So that's pretty cool. I'll set him down there. I'll start getting ones that I'm going to paint probably today. It's an alternative Batman here, the different Batman. Oops, sorry, Patreon viewers, I'm going the wrong way here. Anyway, so that's that Batman, and what the Facebook guys see. And some of this stuff will be on Patreon, some of it will be on Facebook. Not all of it will be on Facebook, probably. I don't know. Depends on what I want to do with it. I do have a really cool Huntress figure that came with the set. That, I mean, it's not technically my set, but I have it to paint. Is what I'm saying. So, yeah, I'd like to give a shout out again to Steve Jednick, who commissioned me to paint these for him, and it is on the Facebook Live. I wonder if I could set my cameras up somewhere to where it would be like cross-sectioning a little bit. I'm going to zoom in with my good camera a little little bit, so I can see what's going on with it. And there we go. Probably on my good camera, I'll have to be careful not to put my hands in front of it all the time. Let's see, who's next? I don't want to do Bat Cow today, I don't think, but I think I would like to do either or this Catwoman coming up here, right there, this Catwoman, or also here for the Facebook guys. This is Catwoman. I'm going to try to get my camera set up to where I can, so where everybody can see what's going on here, but it might take a second. At any rate, so, and then there's another Catwoman that is slightly different than the others, and that's Catwoman right there, and she is very cool. She looks like the the one with the goggles, kind of, but they're on her eyes, and it's like the Audrey Hepburn, Adam Hughes kind of Catwoman, which I think is really cool. I'm just trying to lay out some guys that I want to paint, at least try to get painting today. It looks like there's a Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, and an Azrael, and a Jason Todd Red Hood, and like several others that would be really cool to paint. There's actually even a Batgirl. There's Batwoman, and then there's Batgirl. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the difference. Batwoman is Katie Kane, is that right? And then of course Batgirl is Barbara Gordon, and Barbara Gordon was Batgirl way back in the day before she became Oracle. But anyways, so I'm probably telling you guys a bunch of stuff that you already know, but that's fine. All right, so next I'm gonna grab my paints here real quick because I got them all set up. And yeah, so grabbing some paints. I got a ton of brushes. It's always good to have a bunch of variety for paints and brushes when you're going to do miniatures. And it's always good to have like obviously like a cup of water and either some paper towel, like lots of paper towel. This surface that I'm painting on is just basically a TV tray. TV trays are probably the greatest thing since sliced bread for me as an artist, because they're right about 11 by 17, which is the size of a comic page. And they're also, not that expensive. And if you get paint on a TV tray, it's not the end of the world. And if it's your TV tray to get paint on anyways, it doesn't matter. You seem like Jack Kirby's desk, or lots of artists' desks out there, they're just covered in ink and paint and everything else. And that's because we love what we're doing, and we want to get on our craft. And that kind of paint, I don't know about other artists, but that paint, when I see that on like a desk or on a table or whatever, when I see somebody's been working in that space, I always really like it, because it makes me feel it's like visceral, and it makes me feel like something's going on with that in a good way. Okay, so I was thinking I would put on some music. Now, 1 second here. I don't know. It's going to be Pandora. So if you hear Pandora ads, don't think Pandora is paying me, because I use the free version. So I would probably pay for Pandora, because it's actually a good service. It's just I don't usually listen to the music a lot. And if I do, it's all stuff I have. I'm an old man, so I have stuff on DVD or CD, and I have stuff on MP3, of course, like that I've always listened to. Yeah, and I haven't downloaded songs in forever, so there is that. But we got some Pandora, and we're gonna start going Pandora, I think, with some What? What should we play on Pandora? Well, I guess it's artist preference since I'm the artist and since I'm doing this, but I'd like to play something that everybody enjoys. And I want to start this Batwoman miniature first, by the way. But so how about some Journey, I guess? And I don't know if you guys can even hear me right now because I just realized how low I got some stuff set up, but maybe you guys can hear that Journey in the background a little bit. All right. So it'll probably be like the 80s will be the theme, I guess. Anywho. Oh boy. All right. So what I'm going to get is I'm going to get a brush that is sort of a finer brush out. I'm going to show you this brush. And this brush has a tip like so. I don't know if you can see it against the background here. And then here's the brush for you guys on Patreon. And then I'm going to show my other camera too. It's a small point fine tip brush that's pretty good for a lot of different things. When you're working small, not bad to have some small brushes around. When you're working larger, obviously use some larger brushes. It's pretty straightforward. But ultimately, you got to use what brush you're comfortable with because there could be a guy who wants to paint a mural with a tiny ass brush. I don't know. Oops, sorry, tiny brush. I forgot. I think this is for kids on here too. I don't know. But a tiny brush. So guy wants to paint a mural with a tiny brush, and that's perfectly legit. You can paint a mural with a tiny brush if you want to, or if you want to paint miniatures with a gigantic brush, you can do that too. But my recommendation is use small brushes for small stuff, big brushes for big stuff. That's just like a laying down paint kind of scenario. And I think Journey might be a little too loud. All right, so first what we're going to do is we're going to lay down some paint on Batwoman, like I said, because I want to do her first. And I will be moving some stuff around just a second. I'm going to move around my Facebook camera so I can try to get you guys in the same shot together. Okay, so this is right about the cherry shot for Patreon. All right, let me move this up then. Move the Patreon camera up a little. Okay, that's just about the cherry shot, and you can kind of see on my Facebook live feed. Where I'm at. So that's probably pretty good. Okay, so that's good there. Yeah. So the first color I'm going to use is a little bit lighter color, I think, and I think I'm going to go light to dark because often it's easier to go light to dark than it is to go dark to light. So what I need for Batwoman is she's got red hair. So like bright red, like fire red hair, like crazy red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some red. And also there might be a lot of dead air if I run out of crap to say. Who knows? I don't know. But so that might be an issue. If you don't like dead air, that's what the 80s music is for. Got some Bryan Adams. I don't know if you can hear him right now. Hey, Alex Fulvari, welcome to the show. And if you would say possibly, if you could say something in the comment so I know that you're hearing me, or something along those lines, that would be great. There's my palette. I have a palette. I have all kinds of paints. Some of them courtesy of the commissioner, Steve Jednick, Commissioner Gordon, but we are doing Batman, so that is the theme. But no, so courtesy of Steve Jednick, and then I have all kinds of paints that I've collected over time and buy every once in a while. I know you guys are probably bored to tears and say, just get some painting done already, which is I know what Steve would be doing if he's seen this yet. He's been waiting on me a little bit to get to this. He's been busy and life's been getting in the way and other projects and so on and so forth. He's not rushing me, of course, because he's a good guy like that. Us artists kind of have to do some things when creative inspiration strikes, and ultimately sometimes we got to kind of make creative inspiration strike, and that's not always as easy as it sounds. So I'm gonna start with this color. It's from war paint, a war paint set called the Others. I can't see the. I see one called Guillotine Games Studio something Maury Movie. Studio McVeigh and Cool Mini or Not and the Army Painter, and the set is called the Others. And the color here, as you can see, if I can move my finger out of the way, the color is called Wrath. Let's see, Wrath. You see that there? Wrath is the color of, it's kind of an orangey red almost. I'm going to put a couple drops of that is all you really need, and put that in the palette. I shook it up pretty good, but let me shake it some more just for my own benefit, I guess. And one of the best things about paint miniatures is it can be tedious to a point, but it's super fun, and it's a good way to spend time doing something you like. And the thing is it's something that it's not. It's a lot harder to mess up than you think. If you're thinking about painting miniatures, I highly recommend to do it, because you think that you might mess it up or whatever. Actually, these look like washes, but that's okay, because I'm going to wash her hair in red right now. I'm going to do very careful. But you can't really mess it up, because you can always paint over it if you have to. And you can mess it up really bad if you go crazy with the paint. But again, you can always paint over it. Two, you can take the paint off if you have to. Because what I'm using now are acrylic-based paints, and so essentially they're water-based rather than oil-based. Let me see if I can get this the hair in there. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Wrath is considered. Let's see. It says shake well. Okay, which I did. Okay. So it doesn't specifically say it's a wash, but it could be. But they're non-toxic and they're water-based, so they come off easy if you absolutely need them to. All right, hang on. Sorry, I got to turn down the music a little bit. I hope you can still hear it if you want to. There you go. Got some Toto on there. Toto, and yeah, Uncle Bruce, it's a twister. It's a twister. So, get in here and do her hair some more. And I did do these guys with a white primer, And part of the reason I did that is I was worried about how they would show up on camera if I had them painted black. I thought that maybe they would not show up on camera with the lighting I have in my office. I have some pretty decent lighting in here, but it's not like great. You know, it's not like the studio lighting probably should be. And so therefore, I just wanted to be erring on the side of caution kind of thing. So there is that. So here's her hair with some definitely heavy duty orange, reddish orange type of like a wash. It's nice that it's a little bit thin, because sometimes when it's thinner, what happens is it gets down into the cracks, and that's exactly what you kind of want to do with your first coat, because you would like to, you know, emphasize the darker areas first and not have the lighter areas as much in those cracks as the darker areas, if that makes sense. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see here. I'm going to see if I can try to adjust this a little bit more again, but it's really not a great camera. I am going to invest in a newer camera if I'm going to be doing this. Of course. And my Facebook camera, of course, this is my phone camera, which is better, but it doesn't want to focus in on what I want it to focus in on, of course. So there's that. And then you can see your hair a little bit better. All right, and I'll put her down for a second. What I really need now is I need a bright red, like a not bright, but like a deep red, because Batwoman's bat symbol on her chest isn't it's not yellow or black like you would see on some of the other characters. It's actually a deep red. I think Jason Todd, well, not Jason Todd, but the Red Robin, or not Red Robin, is it Red Robin? Anyways, I was thinking one of those guys had a red bat symbol on their chest too, but Batwoman, I think, kind of started that with the red symbol on the chest. The sound you hear is me shaking the paint, because I want to make sure it's all nice and mixed. So, anyways, got some classic rock going on from Dust in the Wind from Kansas. Alright, so this is the color I'm using. I don't know what these names of these colors are, but these particular colors are from Games Workshop. And the Games Workshop paints are really great for painting miniatures. And you can see it's like a deep red. I actually thought I had some different ones from there. I'm going to rinse out my brush a little bit, just a hair. I don't need to rinse it out too much because I'm going red to red, so it's not a major deal yet. And since I'm painting red right now, I'm going to get out the red hood, and I'm going to pull out the red hood, and this is what the red hood looks like. That's Jason Todd, and I'm going to paint his hood while I'm painting this red Batman symbol, red Batwoman symbol. And I'm going to paint that slightly after I do that. So all I need is just a little bit of paint, like a dab, and then even when I get the dab, I kind of am going to take it and wipe it off. If you're watching and you tell friends about this, that would be good. Tried to invite some friends, but it didn't seem to work out too well. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I don't Facebook live stream much, but yeah. So some of them are coming in later. Some of them aren't coming in at all. Okay, so I got one truck in here. I'm gonna go to the invite friends tab real quick, guys, because I want to make sure that people know I'm streaming. So there's Steve right there that's invited. Oh, I got so many people. Oh, goodness. Who knew that there were so many people? Anyways, so yeah, I got like a ton of friends, and when I do this next time, I'll probably invite everybody. But just this time, I kind of like kept it to like so many. Um, and I'm trying to keep the numbers to a manageable amount in case I'm like responding to you guys or things like that. Hey John, welcome to the feed here. So it's a little deeper red than I probably should have used, but that's okay because I can go back in and I can use dry brush highlights for some lighter reds for Batwoman and Jason Todd for the hood and so on. Now him, I should have probably used a little bit bigger brush to do his head, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch to a bigger brush right now. And hopefully you guys can see what's going on. I don't know if you guys can comment on anything that's going on, but if you can, feel free. I'm not sure where it pops up. I thought it would pop up next to this video on my computer, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything. So John, I don't know if you can hear me, but if you can, say if you can hear the music in the background. And so John Churchill's with us too, and Alex Foldvari. I hope I'm saying your name right, Alex. And just watching me paint some miniatures, basically. It's not like the height of entertainment, obviously, but it's kind of fun to watch, fun to do. I love watching like painting shows like Bob Ross and stuff on the William Alexander on the TV. So now what I'm looking at is I'm looking to see if there's anybody that has like specifically red highlights that needs to have their highlights done. We're gonna go back to Batwoman, and Batwoman has red gloves and red boots. I believe she has red boots. Somebody throw me up a picture of Batwoman, quick. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure she has red boots, but I'm painting her gloves for now. And what I'll do is I'll probably paint her boots red, because I believe they are red, if I remember right. And I don't have a picture of her pulled up. But I'll paint her boots red, and then if they're wrong, I can always paint over them black. However, if I paint them black, it's a little bit harder to paint them red afterward. You have to wait for it to completely dry, or contrariwise, you have to remove the paint completely. And yeah, so there is that. Thing here. So you got a little bit on her. That's okay. Like I said, you can't really make mistakes that you can't fix, or you can, but it's a lot harder than you think. So if you're afraid of doing miniatures because they're so small, or because you think you just make mistakes, if you have any kind of painting skills at all, or even if you don't, it's a fun thing to try. There's tons and tons of videos on YouTube that show you how to paint different miniatures and do different things with them. I think if you asked Steve, he would agree, because he's actually painted some really nice miniatures that are like turned out really nice, especially for somebody who had hitherto never really painted anything. And plus, it's relaxing. It's therapeutic. It's definitely got like lots of good perks to painting miniatures. You can paint, whatever you like, but just today we're painting miniatures. If I do another show where I'm painting something else, like a picture or on canvas or whatever, then that's that show. But for now, I like doing the miniatures because like I said, it's kind of therapeutic. There's lots of like small details, but at the same time, it's very fun. I think I painted her elbow, whereas I wasn't supposed to. But again, like I said, you can't really mess up. You can just paint that elbow black because that elbow is supposed to be black. I don't know if you guys can see where I'm painting now. Okay. Oh, yeah, you can still see on there. Okay. The Facebook thing is a little bit wonky, I guess. I don't know. Oh, am I on Facebook? Yeah, okay. Well, oh, yeah, because I forgot both cameras are on Facebook, too. They're also, one's recording on Patreon also. It's weird because some services won't let you, they commandeer your webcam in order to use them. Whereas Facebook and YouTube seem to cooperate together pretty well. And so I've got the same stream off the same camera running on Facebook as I do on YouTube. But I also have a separate Facebook stream running off my phone. Just want everybody to be able to see what I'm doing here. I think this camera needs to pick up a little bit. Hold on. And move it up slightly. Okay. And maybe a little bit slightly more. I only have so much recording time on the other camera, and that'll get uploaded later for just Patreon users. But it's a better camera. It's just, I can't really stream with it just yet. I do have some ideas on how to do that possibly. So there is that. Yeah. Anywho, so I hope you guys are all doing well today. Hope you guys are trying to stay away from this the creeping crud out there, and staying safe and staying home whenever you can, I guess. A lot of people complain about having to stay home, but I'm kind of a homebody, so it's like comes second nature to me. But I'd like to be outdoor in the woods, but there's no really woods around here, so I mean there is, but nothing that I own, so nothing I can really technically go into without getting permission from somebody. But yeah, so I'll have to look sometime and see where the state land is technically, so I can go on the state land without anybody complaining too much. It was one of my favorite things about growing up when I lived in Linden. I had a bunch of woods out behind my house, and we would all go play in the woods all the time. And of course, it was state land, so it was like I owned it. Okay, so it wasn't like I owned it, but it felt like it sometimes. Felt like it was my backyard. Okay, I'm gonna have to flip her over a little bit because I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but back here under her, she's got a heel type thing on one of her boots, and it's kind of hard to get to. So yeah, so the first step, like what I'm doing, a lot of what I'm doing is just kind of throwing paint on there. You can see the paint got on my thumb too, so it kind of gets everywhere. But just throw that paint on there, and then make sure the paint's on there for what you need it for. And then you can go from there. Like the first few, things are, just kind of basically throwing the paint on there, kind of like getting the paint on there and getting going. And then as you get further along, the detailed work will, be a little bit more uh, needed, or a little bit more prominent, I should say. So I like this deep red that I'm working with, whatever it is. It's from Games Workshop. It's a very deep red, and it works well for the boots. It would also work well for like certain shades of blood, I think, just because of how it dries. It dries a little bit darker color. A lot of people when they do blood want to do bright red, but realistically, it's not supposed to be always like that. Although in certain horror movies or things like Kill Bill, it is fun to watch the bright red stuff go everywhere, kind of thing. It's humorous and fun and kind of funny and that kind of thing. So I don't know if anybody's commenting. I don't see anybody commenting, so I guess it could be on my phone because that's off my main page rather than my event page or my artist page. All right, so here we got Batwoman. Sorry, Batwoman. We got, it's not Cassandra Cain, but I believe it's Katie Cain. Kate Cain, maybe that's what they call it. Her name is Kate Cain for sure. But all right, so I've got some Guns N' Roses in the background. Can you guys hear it? Well, no, we'll never know because I'm not seeing any comments, and I'm not sure that you guys can comment even. So I think you can because I can write a comment and part of it, but let me go back to my page now real quick. See if there's anybody. Oh boy. Okay, so I forgot to do this here. Okay. So my Patreon people were missing out on some of the live stream because I've been, lax in doing something. And yeah. But I am live streaming through YouTube. So if you happen to be on YouTube, there's that. Yeah. Hang on, I gotta respond to someone. Okay, so I'm having some problems with my PC mouse. The buttons on it are dying. And yeah, so it's kind of a pain. I probably shouldn't have got out the red, but I need some different red colors anyways. But I probably shouldn't have got out the red, but Robin's outfit is red. Both the Damian Wayne Robin and the Tim Drake Robin both have, red, of course. And then Azrael has also red on him. But I would just come back to them at a later date, probably, is probably what I'm going to end up doing. I'm going to mix this brush a little bit here and get back into some of that reddish. Oop. Uh-oh. Okay. That's my camera. Okay, so okay, so we're gonna stop that and turn this off here. So anyways, so I'm gonna get that reddish I had called Wrath from the other paint set. Just in case you're wondering, the paint set is called War Paints. One second, I gotta see what's going on here. It's called War Paints and Army Painter. And War Paints, and it's from it's called Wrath. The paint color is called Wrath. And it is called for a set called The Others. But what I'm doing is I'm using that because Batwoman has the red hair, but also Batgirl has red hair. Now, Batgirl's red hair is more of this Wrath color, it's like the orangish, red color. And I'm going to do it kind of a little bit more as a wash like the other. I don't know if you can see me painting in there. Okay, so there's that. And then she's got a lot of hair. And then I'm assuming that maybe Batwoman and Batgirl, like, I don't know if she has that red hair on purpose for the Batwoman thing. You know, I'm not sure, but I have not seen the Batwoman series. I heard it takes a lot away from the character. I hear it's one of those series that even if you're a Batwoman fan, you probably won't like the series that much. But you know me, I have to. I watched Catwoman, so I'm definitely going to watch the Batwoman series at some point. Catwoman would have been better if it was 2 hours of Halle Berry jumping around in a leather suit instead of what it was. Wasn't it wasn't the worst movie I ever seen, but it's right up there. It's right up there with some of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like I thought Starship Troopers 2 was terrible. I mean, but somebody put some creative energy into those things. You know, like maybe not much, but somebody did. And yeah, so don't just drop it aside for whatever reason. But okay, so here's Batwoman again. I'm giving you a little like overview of what she looks like here. You can see her hair is that reddish orange color, and ultimately her hair should be a little bit more red than that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that small fine brush that I have, which is it's called a starter brush. Maybe it's called a starter brush because it's for starters. I don't know, but at any rate, I don't use like super fancy brushes or anything. If I do use super fancy brushes, it's because somebody gave them to me, and I'm working with that. So okay, so I'm gonna open my paint back up because it's important with these War Games West, or not War Games West, the Games Workshop paints, that you close them up while you're using them or between using them or whatever, because they're actually really small receptacles, and they tend to dry up fast if you're not careful. So here's Batwoman again, and I'm gonna come in with she's got the red down inside her hair, the orangey red. I'm gonna take the regular red, and I'm gonna try to hit some of her like hairline and do some of the details in there of her hair, because her hair is more red than like Batgirl. And realistically, her hair should kind of match her gloves and her boots. I am going to actually come back in here later. I don't know if you guys can see this. Yeah, you can. I'm going to actually come back in here later. I don't know if it'll be today on this video, but or on the stream, but it might be. But with a wash, and the wash will be a dark wash. Maybe a couple of dark red washes first, or maybe even use this paint as a wash. You can sometimes do that depending on how you do it, and let some of that get down in the cracks, so she has like that dark light contrast with her hair. So because you want that dark light contrast, and you notice if you're looking what I'm doing, you can see where I'm painting red over the orange, and but you can see also that it's giving it a kind of contrast to her hair, so it almost gives it more of a texture too, which is not a bad thing when it comes to doing hair. You would like your hair to be a little bit textured. And so you see it's got like a multicolored look, almost like real red hair would, like real red and orangish red hair, would have like multiple layers, unless of course it's, you know, some kind of crazy hair. But even when like somebody like dyes their hair that color, it's still got like a lot of contrasting like highlights and such, just because of the nature of lighting and refraction and that kind of thing. Now, a lot of miniatures painters will paint their miniatures to have light from one direction. I don't know that I'm going to do that with any of these, um, just because of the sake of time and my preference. What I like is I like the natural light and shadows to kind of be the natural light and shadows on a thing. Um, I've seen people do this thing called zenithal, and basically, I'll show you an example real quick. Um, Basically, what it looks like is the back. Whoops, sorry. The back or the bottom, or the back and the bottom sometimes, are dark because those are where the natural darker areas would be. And then they prime the other like a lighter color because that's where the natural lighter areas would be. So it's a neat concept and it's a neat idea. I'm just not sure that I'm comfortable with doing it yet. Um, uh, yeah, so I'm looking at other red things. I'm going to put the red away now, I think, because I think I'm done with red for now. If you're watching, feel free to comment. Okay, hold on. What's this? Event logs. Maybe I'll say street. Okay, I don't know. Let's see. Can I invite more people? No, I can't invite more people. I don't know what that means. Okay, so yeah. So I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna do a little trick here. And I'm gonna go look at my homepage and see if I can see myself streaming, because that's what I would like to do. Oh yeah, there I am, and apparently I am still live. Maybe, I don't know. Well, I'm live on one thing, anyways, so that's all that matters at this point. But okay, so now what I want to do is, Kate is Batwoman, Kate Kane, and she has a really dark costume. Now, normally I would get that face in there because she's got a lot of skin tone in her face that needs to be done. And I did say it was harder to paint on dark colors, but it's not impossible. And what one of the tricks to it is you make sure you wait till that color is completely dry, and then you go layer by layer. I don't have what I consider as a great flesh tone right now. For her, at least for her, because she's kind of a pale flesh tone. Even in some of the comics, they draw her with like almost like a zombified makeup type thing going on, with like where she's really pale. We do have one flesh tone called Kislev Flesh, and that is a Citadel paint. And Kislev Flesh is I'm showing, because what I'm doing is I'm showing the other camera. Sorry, guys. So it's a Citadel paint called Kislev Flesh, and that's fair enough to be her, possibly. And then there is a white paint that I have called White Scar. It's also a Citadel paint, which is White Scar. And, that says it's air, so I think that's a dry brush paint. Let me look real quick. No, it's hard to tell. Maybe not. I don't know why it says air, but Kislev Flesh is definitely for layers. It says that right on it, I think. Yeah, it does. But I could mix some paint in the palette. I have a palette, so I can mix a little paint on there if I want to. Um, but I just found something from the other thing. Hang on one second. From the painters thing. It's called Lust. Just found this. I didn't think I had this, but okay. So this paint right here. Oops, excuse me. Missing. There we go. So it's called Lust on the other war paints, and then it's called Lust, and it's kind of a, I don't know, almost a beigey zombie white type of thing. Anyways, so I think I'm gonna try it out on her and see what it looks like on her face and like her forehead, because that's the only thing of her that's uncovered. You know, she's very much like Batman, where it's, you know, nothing but the cowl, and the only thing you see is part of his face. So it's very much like that. But so I'm gonna try some of this, but I don't know if it's too light. It's not too light for what she wears in the comics sometimes, but it's not exactly the color I want either. So maybe what I'll do is I'll mix that with the Kids Love Flash. I'm not sure yet. Anyway, let me look and see where it goes. That's another fun thing you can do with paints is you can mix them and blend them. I always recommend doing it on palettes. If you do it in your paint cup, then you're kind of mixing that paint cup, and that paint cup is going to be whatever colors you mix with it forever. There's not really much fixing. It's very hard to fix a paint cup type thing if you do that. Okay, so here she is. And grab some of this Lust paint here. That sounds dirty, doesn't it? Anyways, so yeah, so the Lust paint here, and I'm gonna try to dab her face with it, and it's kind of a more of a wash still. I'm gonna get her whole face, even though she has a mask on. I'm gonna get her whole face because, like I said, it's easy to go from light to dark, but it's not as easy to go from dark to light. And you can probably not tell like even how much that showed up on the screen because of the difference. But that's okay. Once we get her dark colors, then it'll be easy, a little bit easier to recognize. Sorry, I'm gonna drink some tea, guys, because I like to talk a lot apparently. Of course, anybody that's actually watching this video that knows me at all probably already knows I like to talk a lot. So just turn down the volume. Just turn down the volume and watch me do the Bob Ross stuff. Yeah, no. So I got a couple different choices of dark colors, but like I said, I'm going to go from light to dark. I'm going to let this vibe there. You can see it at all. These are some more Games Workshop paints. This is like a dark black that you can see, which will be perfect for the end coat. And here's another dark black. Might even be the same black. I'm not sure, but they're both very dark. One looks, they look pretty dang close. Anyways, but this black looks like a little bit of a wash, and so I'm going to hold on to that because I might need that for after. And of course, there is a couple grays I have, and a couple glosses. And the glosses, like I don't know if I picked them. I think Steve picked out a few of these when he was sending them over to me. But I remember telling him, like, he was showing me some of them on the phone, I think, or on camera or something somehow. And so, but one of the things I want to maybe do, and this is kind of up to you as the painter, I might want to go in there with like a dark blue or a mid blue, and kind of hit her with the blue first. Um, I can always go back and hit her with the blue after. What I would like to maybe do though, instead of the blue, is I have this stuff called mechanical. Yeah, it's mechanical. Hang on, the labels on there. Mechanicus Standard Gray from Citadel. Okay, so there's the Citadel paint. It's called Mechanicus Standard Gray. I'm going to shake that up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to do her whole body and her cape with the Mechanicus Standard Gray. And I just realized also the inside or the underside of her cape is also red. So that's a good thing to take note of, because I'm going to do that with a larger brush, because obviously it's a much larger surface area. And then the back of her cape is going to be hit with the gray. And so I'm going to go over her whole thing with gray, and then I'm going to kind of inset that gray as a highlight. Hopefully, that's the goal here. There we go. So because I could wait till the black dries and do it that way. The other thing is when you're doing a video like this or a live stream, one of the good points about going from light to dark is you don't have to wait for your colors to dry to put light colors on them. So like if you're going from dark to light, in order to put a light color on it, it's much easier to wait for that color to dry, that dark color to dry completely, and then hope for the best kind of thing. I don't know if I got enough lighting here, but I think I do. I really need a lighting expert. No, I really need some good lights that have our studio lights, but I have basically like a fluorescent light, and I could have like another couple fluorescent lights, and I do have a cam light too that I can use, and it would help somewhat maybe. I don't know. It might make it too bright. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so we'll try that. And I'm going to get the bigger brush this time, remember, because I was saying bigger brushes for bigger areas. And this brush, remember, it isn't that big. So this brush here is actually, only slightly bigger than the other brush. So what I could do is I could grab another bigger brush, even like a third brush that was even slightly bigger. Let me see about doing that, and I will show you what I mean. Where did you go, George? Yeah. Oh, yeah, there. Okay, so I set them to the side, and then I forgot which side. Okay, so I'm gonna do what is basically a kind of a medium brush. It's not too medium. I don't know. It's still relatively small. It's still sufficient for miniatures, but it's a much larger brush than either of those two. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this brush here. I'll show you in just a second here. So what I want here is this brush. And you see, if you compare the three brushes side by side, you can see that it's a much larger brush than the other two. But it's still, like when you compare it to the miniature, it's still like relatively, small. So, it's a smaller brush, but it's bigger than the other two. So it's going to cover more area faster. And so I get a little bit of paint on there, and you got to be careful not to get too much, obviously, because you're only dealing with so much surface area, and you don't want to, if you can help it, you don't want to repaint the areas that you've already painted. But if you can't, that's okay too, You know, especially if you're just learning these you know, miniature painting thing, then you know you're going to have lots of stuff to learn along the way, and you're going to have lots of mishaps and lots of misfortunes. And I like to think of them like Bob Ross called them, happy little accidents, because sometimes those happy accidents work out for your own benefit. Sometimes they don't, but all the time you learn from them. And you know, if you have a happy accident that works out for your benefit, and you happen to be able to recall how you did it, or happen to be able to recall like what caused it, then sometimes you're better off, because then you can do it again when you want to, rather than um, just have it be a one-time thing. So it's like when people ask me, "But aren't you afraid of making mistakes?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, you don't really make mistakes. You know, they're all like might be happy accidents or whatever, happy mistake, I guess, because you know it's all a part of the process." One of the things that the like Eastern religions believe, or Eastern philosophies believe, is that it's not about the finished product anyways. It's all about the process. So a lot of times there's certain cultures that'll make like these gigantic sand paintings or sand mandalas, or you know, that are super detailed, just incredibly detailed, but they're made of sand. And then once they're done with them, they like blow them away, or you know, mess them all up and start all over, because like I said, it's the process, so more so than um, the finished product. Now you can be proud of your finished product. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say that you shouldn't be, um, but at the same time, you know, the part that's therapeutic isn't the finished product. The part that's therapeutic is actually working on it. And see, this Mechanicus Gray gives a really nice luster, and it has like a lot of variances in uh, gradient. I don't know if you're familiar with that term, but basically going from a dark color to a light color, or different, looks like different colors almost. That even though it's one color, it almost looks like multiple colors, and it's got a really nice luster right now when it's wet. Um, I don't know exactly how it'll look when it's dry. Either way, that it will be what becomes our base coat, or whatever that is our base coat for um, the black that we'll be laying down later. So hopefully that will help the way I think it will. Um, so yeah, so there is that. Move this over here so I can paint her leg a little bit. Where is she at? There she is. Okay, so let's see that. Now, I was going to do this from my artist page, but I just decided to do it from the event, because I invited people to the actual event. And I don't know. I am streaming from my homepage too, and I don't know how many people are actually watching there. But you know, it's kind of weird, because I can't really tell certain things on my phone that well, and your screen's only so big. And unless I want to stop it and mess with it, and you know, uh, see who's on there or whatever, then there's kind of no point. So I'm not going to do that. I got some on a boot that I didn't want to get on there, but that's okay. Just rub it off a little bit and then lay it back down. And then what I'll do is, you know, if I need to, I'll go back and repaint on that boot with the red again. And what I would like to do, I will have to look through my other paints, and I'm going to get some red that is like a little bit lighter red than that, but not quite as orangey as the other red. So like a bright red, and put them together on the red parts here on Kate's hair and costume. So yeah. Now, I don't know. You guys aren't obligated to stay and watch me streaming video. If you guys want to leave your video and leave it on even and stream it and walk away while you go get something to eat or something to drink, that's fine with me. You can also always come back and watch this later because I'm sure that it will update and like play as a regular video once it's over. Uh, Pretty sure that that's the case. I'm not 100% sure, but pretty sure. I've seen it with other people's stuff do that, so I'm thinking that's how it will work. And it has done that with some stuff of mine in the past, I think. But it's been a while since I've streamed anything. I used to stream on a site called Livestream. I think it was called Livestream, and Ustream also. But I haven't done that, like I said, in years. So yeah. And of course, I still have the same terrible webcam as I used back then. But anyways, you can see how the different color variations keep coming through now. And so she's looking pretty decent, I think. That underside of her cape right there, that's going to be the bright red, or well, the red that I used for her hair and her gloves. Not the orangey red that I used for her hair, but the other red. So now I've got her torso to do, and right around her chest and the bat symbol there, I'm going to use a smaller brush. But for everything else, like I'm going to go in first, and I'm going to lay in the gray with the bigger brush, because it doesn't make sense to just, you know, do the whole torso with that small brush, I don't think. So get some more paint here on my brush, and I'm actually going to go in there, and it's got enough of a tip on it where I can kind of get close to that. I don't know if you guys can see that. I hope you can see some of this detail. It's really a interesting figure, and hopefully once I get the paint laid down and all that, and once I get this video done and so on and so forth, I will probably take some nice stills that will allow me to show you what I've done in a better light. Or hopefully you can see some of the stuff that's going on the camera itself, if not on the camera I have going on my homepage, which is my personal page, facebook.com/BrianGermain1. If you want to watch a different feed off my phone camera, it's a little bit better camera. However, when I bring it into focus, it's not doing that so good. There we go. Nice focus. Nice camera. Anyway, so you can watch it here. You can watch it out there. You can watch it with a goat. You can watch it in a boat. Yeah. Anyway, should have named this feed Green Eggs and Batman. Anyway. And then, like I said, after I get done with the feeds, then I will put up nicer stills, as good as stills as I can manage anyways. I'm not a photographer, but I've taken some good photos, some decent photos, and what usually works for me is taking about 1 billion photos and then picking the best one. Go. Okay, so I don't know. Looks like only Alex and John were in here. I don't know if they're still even in here, but somebody might be in here on my homepage. Oh yeah, it looks like there's a few people watching. Very good. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming along and watching, seeing what I'm up to. I know Brandon and Steve are both huge board game fanatics. I also have a friend named Jerry that's a big time board game guy. Board games have made like this huge resurgence. I don't know if anybody's watching like in my family that is like my mom or somebody like that, but we're not talking like board games like Sorry and Monopoly and stuff like that, although Monopoly is fun. But we're talking about these board games, and they're very in depth and complex on some levels, and for some of them, I should say. And then also, some of them, even though there's a complexity to them that's far beyond like Sorry or Monopoly, a lot of them are still very intuitive and still very easy to play. And Steve has showed me so many cool board games. And there's so many cool ones that I'd like to play. It's just a time consuming thing, and I'm sure Steve feels the same way because I always hear him talk about how much time he has to actually not play board games. And so yeah, okay. If you, I don't know if you guys can see this on camera, but under Batwoman's would be her left breast. There's a white line there. Now I can try to get it with this bigger brush, and I might. But you can see the white also around the bat symbol that I was talking about having to do with a detail brush. So what I would rather do, and that's probably what I'm going to do right now, is I'm going to take the detail brush. That was the small brush, the smallest one. That's what I'm referring to as the detail brush anyway. And I'm going to take that one, and I'm going to get that line between her under her underarm, and there's a couple little dots I want to clean up with that too. But I'm going to get that line and get some paint on the detail brush and then take the paint off too because I don't want too much paint on there. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm going to try to get it on the camera in a way you guys can see it. Okay, so right under here, under her arm, is a white line. And I can barely get to it. There's some white here that I'm going to get to. And then under her arm and under her back right here, there's some white back down in here. And then I'm getting that with that detail brush, like what I was talking about earlier, where you can get the smaller areas with the detail brush, the smaller, harder to reach areas. And she will be done like that and have some fill in on her back, under her cape. Now, a lot of people might not even care about, like, okay, so right here under her arm, I'm trying to get, and a lot of people might not even care about that because 9 times out of 10, if she's in a board game and she's on the board, you're not going to see any of that stuff. But that's okay because I like to do this. This is something that I wish I could do all the time. And, if you guys are Patreon people and like to support people on Patreon, you guys could always go over to my Patreon page and support me there. And I'm going to try to be doing more stuff like this on Patreon all the time. Hopefully get a better webcam, do that kind of stuff. And, which would help facilitate to me possibly doing stuff like this all the time as far as like full time. But I don't have just one hobby, which is fortunate and unfortunate. And so, like, I like to do Dungeons and Dragons supplements. I like to do artwork. I like to do a little bit of everything that I can get my hands on that has to do with this kind of stuff. So I like a variety of things. So I'll be doing a variety of things on the Patreon page, which if that's something you're interested in, then it would be good for you. If you're looking for somebody that does headshots or portraits and headshots or pinups or full sequential comic pages, and whatever they do that same thing every time. That's probably not what you're going to get on my Patreon page. Probably what you're going to get on my Patreon page is me doing whatever the mood strikes me to do at that point in time. I'm not saying that I'm going to make an egg salad and make an egg salad sandwich on my Patreon page, although I hear that's very lucrative sometimes. But what I am going to do is kind of whatever the mood takes me to do. Now, she has eyes behind there, but like on a lot of the classic Batman images, they're white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do her whole mask with this gray, this Mechanicus It's Mechanicus gray, standard gray, and I'm going to do her whole mask that way, and then I'm going to come back later and fill in her eyes with the white. And there's some reasoning behind that, but mostly it's about, if I did her eyes first, I would think that it would be just so hard to come back in and paint around there and not get her eyes. And so I'm actually coloring her eyes black too right now, but like I said, I'm going to come back in here and do it with white. And some people could probably do this and not get her eyes. But for ease of use and, for the intents and purposes, I'm doing her eyes too. And this is also me showing you that you can do her eyes too, and it's not going to kill the miniature. It's not going to kill the painting or the paint job. So I got to turn her around a little bit here, and I got to get this white line here. And then now I'm going to come in here where her bat symbol is. Am I still on camera? Nope, I'm not. I'm coming off camera a little bit here. And come in here where her bat symbol is and get around there a little bit. And if I have to, I can always come back in and get that bat symbol again. And I probably will, like I said, with a brighter red. So that way it pops a little bit more. But it's her hair and her bat symbol and her gloves and her undercape are all a very deep red in comparison to, like, say, like Robin's his torso, his vest thing. Robin is very, very much a light character compared to Cassandra, or not Cassandra, Kate Kane. So I believe her belt is also yellow, or not yellow, red. So before I go to apply that next coat of red to her undercape and to her belt, I'm going to really quick pull up an image of her so I can make sure I'm getting it right, because nothing worse than painting a miniature and getting it just how you want it and then finding out later that it's really not just how you want it. Where can I put her that you can see her? Well, I guess you'll see her on here or on, I don't know. Here, you know what? I have an idea. It's a dangerous idea, but I have an idea. Where is it? Okay, I guess no. Let me pull up a picture real quick. So what I'm going to look for is a Batwoman. I'm going to Google Batwoman. I'll come up with 1 billion images. And like I said, my mouse is kind of dying, so give me a second here. Yeah, and her belt is red definitely in the series. Of course, I'm getting all the series. I'm not getting the comic images. Oh, there's a comic image. Okay, good deal. All right, yeah. So her belt is red, and even in the series, it looks like she's got that pale, like almost white. See this white face, this pale white face makeup, and she does have some really red lips though. So that'll be probably one of the last things I do though. So what I'm going to do is I am going to grab that red again. And like I said, this whole time what I'm doing is I'm closing up paints because, they dry out fast if you're not careful with them. So yeah, so I'm getting this red again. And I'm going to take that bigger brush that I just used to do her, her whole body with. And I'm going to use that bigger brush I used for the gray for the red that goes under her cape also. My other camera, my good camera, ran out of time a long time ago, so I only got a little ways in. But that's okay because, I need to get a better memory card probably. And I also, like I said, I'm going to learn how to stream with that possibly if I can figure out a way to hook it up to my computer and have it interface at the same time. Right now it hooks up to the computer, but only for data transfer. It doesn't hook up and stream yet, and I don't know if there's a way to do that yet. I'm sure there probably is, but so I'm gonna do this here. I'm getting this right, getting this dark, deep red here. And like I said, it probably needs to be highlighted with some brighter red, but that's okay. Right now, we're just interested in getting some base coats on. You know, you got to walk before you can run. You got to get your base coat on before you want to do too much detail work. At least that's how I work. I don't know. Everybody's going to work their own way. That's one of the things. If you're just starting out and you're doing this, is you're going to find out that you're all going to work in your own way. You're all going to want to do certain things your way, and that's fine. That's how you do things. That's. I mean, there's no one true way that you're supposed to do this. And if anybody tells you that, I'd be highly suspect of them. Just like art is subjective, creating art is also kind of subjective. Yeah, sure. If you want to draw a straight line, it's probably best to use a ruler. But you know, if you want to take your time and draw your straight line in your own specific way without using a ruler, you know, or whatever, that's up to you. I mean, that's totally up to you. You shouldn't let anybody else. So I say, like, you know, 4-year-olds and like my kids are pretty talented. My 11-year-old's very talented. He's but what I love the most about them is the raw talent there, the raw creativity, the raw passion that goes into what they're doing. Because, you know, like, I think as we grow up, we kind of lose a little bit of that. Even though, like, people would go, well, your stuff's amazing or whatever, you know, I kind of think, well, it might be amazing, but would it be more amazing if I had the skill I had and I had the talent I had, but I was 2, you know, like, and I just went crazy with it, you know, like, you know, I get ideas in my head of, you know, okay, certain things should look certain ways, and that's not always true. You know, Picasso didn't think that. Jackson Pollock didn't think that. I mean, maybe they did think that certain things would look certain ways, but they didn't think certain things should look the way that they look in actual life, which is great. It's awesome. Awesome. So how's that look, guys? How's it going? All right. I'm going to move to the smaller brush for the belt. It look like I have a little dot up here too that I can take care of with a smaller brush. Probably can't. Oh yeah, you can see that dot on the camera. Very good. Okay, good deal. Okay, so you know, some of the stuff I don't know what you can see on the camera until I look. But see this little dot right there? It's kind of annoying me. And there's some little dots at the edge here and here. And you know what? You don't have to, if you were painting and you're painting your Batwoman or whatever, you don't have to worry about those dots. If you don't want to paint those dots, don't paint them. Sometimes people just want some color popped on their miniatures just so when they're playing their game, they got some color on there, you know? Some people want a great, like, masterpiece, and some people want, you know, just something. And the idea is that realistically, if you want a great masterpiece, there's nothing wrong with that. But also, don't go out your first try at this and expect to create your magnum opus. You know, most people don't create their masterpiece from the get-go, and you shouldn't expect to. I don't expect to. I hope that I've never created my masterpiece yet, and I hope that, like, just doing this. See, I got a little water in there, so I've got like almost a wash going on, but that's kind of what I wanted. So that's, I forgot to say that, to probably water down your brush a little bit. But so I got a little wash going on so I can get the red down in those crevices of the belt, and then I can come back with the red again and tap it with the red, so I can get like a thicker non-wash over top. But yeah, so yeah, don't worry about creating your masterpiece. Just worry about creating. Just worry about doing whatever. Like part of the thing that's kept me from like doing a lot of artwork these days is just the fact that I've been like, I don't know, for lack of a better term, not disinterested, but just like like not wanting to. I haven't had the creative drive, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I don't know the word I'm looking for now. Oh, that's a phone call. That could be my wife. Hang on one second. I will answer it. It could be a telemarketer. It could be a wife. It could be anybody. It could be the Gong Show. I don't know. Hello, anybody there? Hey, what's up? What? Possibly, yeah. I'm busy, but yeah. Okay. All right. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye. Yeah. So that was the wife, and she needs me to do something for her real quick. But I will hesitate for just a moment while I'm finishing up this belt. Oh, that could be her again. Hang on one second. She probably forgot to tell me something. Oh, yep. Hang on. Let me check real quick. Sorry, guys. You forget something? No. Okay, so that was Justin that time. I should have answered the phone for my wife because, see, Justin had to call. And I don't know who that Justin was. It's not my friend Justin. It's not Justin Faber. It was Justin from some automotive department on some kind of secret line or whatever. I don't know. But regardless, I don't really care what he had to say. Some kind of telemarketer, I think. There's people trying to sell me warranties on the phone all the time for my car, and it's like, okay, anybody that knows me knows my car has long that ship has sailed. Like I got a car that's 100 years old, so okay, so it's not 100 years old, but it's got almost 300,000 miles on it, and it is well over warranty. And I don't think anybody would give me a warranty on it anyways without trying to charge me an arm and a leg, which is like, part of the scam, obviously. So I'm going to get some more red here. She's got some hair coming down right here. Oh, and I'm going to get some of the red off my brush. And got some hair coming down right here that needs to be paid attention to. Okay. And if you have like a magnifying glass or you need a magnifying glass, that is a good investment. They have like little magnifying glasses that you can use for doing this that are very good investments. I would like to get one of those. So, okay, I'm going to go AFK for just a second, and I'm going to leave you here with Steve Perry, or whatever it is. I think that's Steve Perry talking or singing right now. Oh, no, he's done now. So whoever comes on, and I'm going to try to set up this to where you guys can look at it while I'm AFK. Oh. And hopefully you guys can see her now. So this way. And I'm going to keep her right about there. And then I'll be back in about 2 minutes here or less. And I'm going to go turn on my wife's computer for her. So. things I won't do for other people. No, I know. So I'll be back. Well, that was pretty simple considering the work computer that I had to help turn on was already on. So, who's next? Oh, Pat Benatar, apparently. So yeah. Let's see. People are, oh, thanks, Andrea, for joining. And looks like Brandon and a couple other people are online, maybe. It's hard to tell who's where. People are probably sending me private messages, it looks like. That's okay. I can't really do a whole lot with the private messages right now because of the stream. And I know other people can interact and do the streaming and do everything all at once, but I'm not exactly that familiar with it to do that, I think. So yeah. Anyway, I'm just getting some paint ready here. Looks like somebody might have left this one open a little bit too long as it is. And that's like I said, that's kind of a no-no. But ultimately, stuff happens. Okay, so she's got a white spot down there on her backside, lower backside. You guys can see it on the camera probably better than I can show you, or better than I can even see it, maybe. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is, because of that spot, I'm going to do that with some gray because that's an obvious gray spot. But I'm going to finish the belt here with that deep red first. And of course I got some on our leg, but since I'm popping out the gray in a second here, then shouldn't be an issue. There we go. So now it's got that red going on there, some red in her cape. There we go. And then so there's some smaller spots right there too, some smaller white spots that could use some gray. And there's also another small spot where her hair is coming out that probably could use some red in there too. Get too much red in there. Don't worry, you can always gray it out later, I guess. Or whatever color you need to replace it with. All right, so primer is actually still a little sticky on here, which I didn't anticipate. But my friend's got these really nice little holder things that you can put them in, that you can hold them in while you're painting, and I can't remember what they're called, but it's just like a figure holder. Maybe that's what it's called. Even I don't know. It's like a little figure holder though for when you're painting. You can hold the base. It like holds onto the base, and it gives you a bigger area to hold onto while you're painting, which is very convenient sometimes. All right. So there's that. I gotta switch back to the gray. I gotta do the detail gray again, or do the detail brush again, which is what I'm doing. So I'm rinsing it out so I can use the gray. Some John Cougar Mellencamp on the background there. I don't know if anybody can actually hear the music, but maybe I should turn it up. The only thing is when I do turn it up, it kind of messes with me talking and like the volume that I'm talking at compared to what I think you guys can hear. So I just want some background noise, basically, to keep you guys, you know, from hearing too much dead air, I guess. So if you don't know me, why are you watching this? No, I'm just kidding. Actually, no, I would be interested in knowing that. But no, if you don't know me, then what I would like to say is that I have been doing artwork of some fashion since I was about 2, and I started really doing like kind of like quasi-professional stuff, meaning I was getting paid for it in high school. I mean, I did some stuff. I did some stuff as early as like middle school, but mostly like I started in high school. And what I was doing is I was selling like pictures that I would paint or not paint, but draw to different friends. I mean, I know my friend Dan Langley has bought something off me. I know like my friend Rob, my friend Steve. Like a lot of my friends have bought stuff off me, and several of my friends, several people that aren't necessarily like were in my circle of friends, but just knew me from school bought stuff too. So I thought that was kind of neat, and it supplemented my Swiss cake roll habit and my zebra cake habit in high school. So that was always nice. Um, and plus, I had a little bit of extra play around money with in high school once in a while. Like because I grew up fairly poor and we didn't always have like a little bit of everything. So it was kind of like understood that you know thankfully I have like lots of great friends that were helping to do stuff, and we'd buy for each other when we could and such. We still do that if we can. So yeah, okay. So there's that gray is pretty much all laid down except for this little back spot that I missed, and it's really hard to see. It's not easy. It's not hard to see why I missed, but it's really hard to get to is why I missed it. So I'm not sure how I'm going to get to it. I guess like so. And like I said, some people might not even do this because some people might just leave that spot blank if because it's going to be a spot that's not seen as much as some of the other stuff. Um, and also when I did her leg, I got some on her leg when I was doing her belt. So I'm going to come back here with the gray, do her leg again in that gray. And then up in here, there's some red that I didn't get under her belt. And I want to put this gray back in there. There we go. All right, so you can see she's just about done as far as her base coats go. One of the things that I would like to suggest is if you get her to this stage and you like her at this stage, keep her at that stage if you want. I'm going to go a little bit further with her because I want to do like certain things with the look. But if you get her to that stage and you like her at that stage, there's nothing wrong with keeping her at that stage. She looks like Batgirl or Batwoman. She's got the dark colored suit. She's got the red belt. She got the red boots, red hair, red undercape. That's Batwoman. That is nobody's gonna go and look at your game board and go, "Who the heck's that? I can't tell who that is." They're gonna be like, "Yeah, that's Batwoman." Unless of course they don't know who Batwoman is. But that's another story. So what I'm going to do next, though, is I'm going to come in with a dark color with the black, and I'm going to try to see if I got that wash that I think I do. I have one called, it's a shader, and it's called Nuln Oil. And if I could see where Steve was talking, if he was talking, then then I would be able to tell whether or not this was the right thing, and I'm pretty sure it is. And it's a wash. Now, washes can be kind of scary because what happens is basically it's a really thin, inky paint, and it goes over the entire, well, usually over the entirety of your figure. And what I want it to do is I want it to go into those cracks and crevices, and it will really bring out some of that detail that we might be missing by looking at it. And so what a lot of miniature things are is there's several layers of paint, or there's like several layers of there's paint and then wash and then paint again, kind of thing. So if you don't feel like doing a wash and you're too afraid to do a wash, I highly recommend you do it anyway. Why? Because if you do it and you get good at it, you'll be so happy with the results, I think. And if you do it and you're not happy with the results, you can always repaint or do whatever else after. So if you see I'm doing a really dark wash, it's called Nuln Oil. I'll put it up on. I forgot to put it up first, but I'll put it up in a second. But it's called Nuln Oil, and it's a dark, almost black wash. So it's really a kind of a dark brownish black. And I'm putting it all over her, like everywhere on her. And what I want it to do is I want it to get down in some of these crevices, but it also kind of will add a little bit of a luster to her and a little bit of gradient to the colors. And that's what the washes are for. They're for that gradient and that luster. And then they will dry. I'm going to paint the sidewalk where she's at too. It's primed. It's not picking up very good because it is a wash. But I'm going to get her, paint her all over with this wash. And it almost gives her a muddy or a dirty look to some of her, which is fine. It's ultimately kind of where we're going with it anyways. That's where we want to, you know, it can give her a sense of realism. And if you see that in the base there's like a lot of cracks and stuff in the ground, and you wouldn't have seen those cracks without this wash, or it would have been a lot harder to see anyways. You can also do